But it was all done secretly, because under the state's Brown Act, the open meetings laws, it's okay for cities to negotiate. Pay and benefit deals are considered a closed-door negotiation, and then it gets approved by the union and presented to the council in open meeting. But basically, all the deal is done behind closed doors, behind the scenes. And what they were doing under the Brown Act, you're supposed to tell the public. You can't tell the public the details of the negotiations, but you're supposed to tell them the nature of it. So, how many of you have checked a council agenda in the cities that you live in? Let's see. Okay, we've got a few. So this is an activist crowd. Now, how many of you have understood like any of it? I mean, yeah. Because if you look at it, and I deal with this for a living, and I'm like, what the hell is this? You got to know somebody who knows tells you what's going on. You look at sub-item 27, and it says MOU, Memorandum of Understanding 1.2-345 discussions, council, chamber, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. Well, that meant it's a pension increase that they're doing. You know, they would do that on the redevelopment and new urbanism and regulatory takings. They're masters, cities are masters of doing that too. Anything that's really controversial, you can figure is buried way down deep, and it's agendized in a way that no normal person would understand. So that's what the city did, and they figured they were complying with the law. Meanwhile, the council members were almost all on board with this, except for Sean. Two of them were Republicans, by the way. And they sent, so Sean called me, and I wrote about it. I said, the Fullerton Council is negotiating a pension increase, and I explained some of the details which I learned from elsewhere, from other reporting. And boy, the establishment came down on him like a load of bricks. They wanted him prosecuted for violating the Brown Act, including some prominent Republicans, because it was embarrassing to their two Republicans on the board. Anyway, that's how it goes when you blow the whistle on that. Meanwhile, the unions had already had the details of the negotiation for weeks, because they had a vote on it and had already approved it. And then the thing was going to be snuck through, agendized on a Thursday or Friday. It's on Tuesday's council meeting. The place is filled with union members. I don't think they wear purple shirts in Fullerton, but you get the idea. And boom, it goes through. And once, as the courts of the state have ruled, once a legislative body, a city council, board of supervisors, or the state legislature votes on these deals, they're done. We're stuck. We're the taxpayers. We're stuck paying for it. For 30 years, and it goes on much more than 30 years. There's a new actuarial term, and this is for real, called the Viagra effect, because many public employees are retiring at such a young age, and then they're marrying even younger spouses, and then we the taxpayers are on the hook until that spouse, the spouse passes on. So anyway, Sean went on. He wanted to run for board of supervisors. And at the same time, Scott Baugh, who was the GOP county chairman, and this is a pretty good lesson, he decided he passed something called implemented something called the Baugh Manifesto. Manifesto is not usually a positive term, but I'll have to talk to him about that. But it was actually a good thing. He said that anyone who takes union money will not get the Republican Party's endorsement. That wouldn't mean anything up here, I'm sure, but in Orange County, the Republican Party approval means a lot. And so Sean became the test case for this. So usually the elections, county supervisor elections, we're looking at about $200,000 in Orange County, maybe a little more. And the unions dumped about $1.2 million against Sean. And they lost. Sean won. Sean won the election. And he's, so that's good news. Now he's agreed to take the highest pension benefit once he got on board, but which tells you how much stake to put in politicians, and explains why some of us become rather cynical. But he's still a good guy. He'll still vote the right way. He still beat the unions. He still proved that you can take on the unions. But I've never seen anybody take them on sideways and succeed. I've only seen people take them on right down the middle and go right after them. And a lot of times they back down, or taking them on head on will certainly negate a lot of their financial advantages. And one of the other folks who wrote, I had two forwards. The one was Tom McClintock, the other is Mark Bucher. And Mark he was the author of 226, I always mix up the numbers, but the Paycheck Protection, and had been promoting a new Paycheck Protection initiative, which didn't get enough signatures, but might see life again, and that's basically limiting the ability of unions to take their members' dues at will and spend it on political purposes. So that's, I think, a worthy effort, because something has to take away from the power that the unions have. Anyway, I wanted to bring up one of the other lies that I hear a lot from, this is from, again, I deal with public safety a lot, not because I have anything against public safety. That's one of the areas of government we obviously need. However, because of that fact, because people are supportive of public safety, of police and firefighters, and especially after the 9/11, a lot of these unions have abused that legacy to enrich themselves. And I've seen the letters, the threatening letters really from unions to politicians, basically saying, look, after 9/11, you need to give us this, and they make direct references to it, and I just don't think it's right. I think that those unions that do that are dishonoring the 9/11. But one of the arguments, but this is the public safety problem is the public employee problem at its extreme. It makes up such a big part of the financial problem because of the level of salaries and because of the early retirement and the extremely enhanced pension benefit. But one of the arguments I get a lot is, well, we die shortly after we retire. And that's what I'm told. I've been told that a lot. I was even told that by a union official on national television. It was the Stossel show, and I was so happy that the union official chose to bring up that untrue point, because I had done the research. I contacted CalPERS, and the longest living category of public employee, retiree, is police, followed by fire. They live on average to be in the mid-80s, low to mid-80s. Okay, so, and if you retire at 50 and you live to be 83, that's not 3 to 5 years. So these are sometimes difficult subjects, but we have to broach them. We have to rebut these arguments. I think a lot of the people, a lot of the police who've called me and argued that actually believe this to be true. They read it in their union newsletters. So I just have to tell them that it's not, and we have to buck up the council members who want to be seen, with the police cruiser in the background and posing next to the fire truck, because it's a really easy way to get elected. And this is true at every level. I went to. How many of you have been to local school board meetings? Oh wow, you're a better lot than I am. I hate those things, and I can't stand it. But the last one I went to, there were about 4 of us, regular people. You count me as a regular person, so maybe there were 3 of us and me in there. And this was at I forget what the issue was, but it was some fairly contentious issue. And then the whole back of the room was lined by CSEA people. Not the teachers union, the union for the other employees, for the janitors, the cooks, and all that. They had some. It wasn't purple, but it was some sort of T-shirt. They all wore the Solidarity T-shirt, and they were all standing in the back like this. And I bet you can guess how the board voted unanimously on their issue, right? They understand. And that's what we have to understand, that it's really going to take activism. We have to show up at these god-awful meetings, which I really would rather pound my head on the lectern than go to another. If you gave me the choice of going to the local school board meeting or pounding my head here, I'd have to think about